gamer show. Beep boop bop beep bop beep bop bop. Filler music. Beep bop beep up boop 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 boop. Opinions. Hot takes. Video games. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamer Show. I am your host, Harrison Putnam, and we got some stuff to talk about this week. As far as like news goes, not a ton of stuff. We got a few trailers that I'm going to be checking out with you guys. We're going to be checking out The Last of Us Part 1 trailer. There was some Resident Evil merchandise trailer that I have no idea what it is, but we're going to watch it. It's like 2 minutes long, so we're going to check it out together. And then I want to watch the Dragon Ball Breakers trailer because I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Super. I love all things Dragon Ball. I think the Xenoverse games are fantastic. I liked Dragon Ball Z Kakarot a lot, even though it was janky in a lot of ways. And of course, Dragon Ball Fighters is an excellent game. So, last week we talked about the Bandai Namco hack, and we got a bunch of new Dragon Ball stuff. So, or potentially, obviously, a grain of salt with hacks and leaks and stuff like that. So, we're going to be talking about that today. So sit back. Good morning. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday night for me. It's morning for you. So how are you doing? Or afternoon, whenever you catch it. But cheers to it's almost the weekend. We're finally through the week. We can chill out and play some video games, right? That's what we do here. We play some video games. All right. So that being said, before we jump into the news, I want to talk about Dragon's Dogma. I have been curious about this game, especially when they announced a sequel for the game's 10th anniversary. I have been looking for a physical copy. Tried GameStop. They were completely sold out. Tried some other places, sold out as well. And then lo and behold, Xbox has a sale right now. I believe it's still going on. It was $5, so I had to download it. I've put about maybe 3 to 4 hours into it so far. It's got it feels like a combination of like maybe Skyrim, maybe Dark Souls-esque, maybe less Dark Souls. But the combat is really fun. I like the fact that there's essentially summons in the game. I'm having a brain fart on what they're called currently. I should probably look that up here. Dragon's Dogma summons? Let's check. Let's see if that's it. I'm not quite sure. Well, not going to spend a ton of... Pawns, that's what it is. So yeah, so there's like rocks in the game that you can summon pawns. You can have up to 2 total, so 3 in the party, including yourself, and they vary from like I play as a Strider, which uses a bow and arrow and like 2 daggers, and then you have your basic sword class, whatever, and then like a knight or something like that, and then you have like a mage user, and there may be one other, but I cannot remember if there is. But so far, the combat is really cool. It kind of reminds me of, oh my gosh, what am I doing tonight? I am just having the biggest brain fart. Shadow of the Colossus, where you climb on the monsters, and they've got like Cyclops in the game, dragons, like Hydras. There's a ton of different types of monsters, but you climb on it. And you hold on and you attack, and you can eventually like cut off limbs and stuff like that I've seen so far. The first Cyclops you come around, you have to get onto its leg and it can't move, and then you just kind of thrash at its leg, cut his leg up, and he eventually falls, and then you can get off and then attack him. But it's really cool. I like it so far. It's like an RPG game. I just went through, like, I wouldn't say it's a dungeon, but kind of the first side mission that I've done, and I died a few times, so it is a little bit of a difficult game so far, but nothing too crazy. But yes, I like it a lot. I am definitely going to stick with it. Again, I keep mentioning it, but I am still in like that post Elden Ring lull, I guess. Although we do have games coming out, we're going to briefly mention Stray and As Dusk Falls today. I have not played either one of those, but those games are kind of the bigger games this week. And then we have Live Alive tomorrow, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 next week, which I'm probably going to pass on both of those. I don't know. Xenoblade, I may pick up. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still up in the air. I may wait for some reviews, see what people say about it, and go from there. But I still have to go through the first one, so we'll see. But but yeah, I guess I probably should have mentioned what this show is about. But again, it's a morning show, right? I eventually want to maybe do 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. So please, like the video. Subscribe to the channel, all that YouTube mumbo jumbo that everyone says, of course. But that would be much appreciated. I eventually, again, want to do maybe 2 days a week, maybe 3, depending on how well the show goes. It just kind of depends on what kind of topics that I want to talk about. And obviously the news itself kind of, shows like this demand news. And sometimes, weeks don't have a lot of news that's going on, kind of like this week. But yeah, I may eventually try to live stream it like a normal morning radio show. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And also, it's just a very chill, show where if it's nighttime and you're watching and you're having some couple drinks, vibe up. It's all about the vibe, man. It's all about just chilling out, relaxing, hanging out with your buddy and talking about some games. So let's jump into some quick news here before we start watching those videos. And again, there may be some news that I don't touch on. So if there's something that I forget or didn't mention, put in the comments below. Let me know what it is, and I'll certainly chat you up in the comments. And some stuff I may deliberately not talk about if I don't have a lot of knowledge of. So that's I'll occasionally do that. And we do that on my my gaming podcast as well, Gaming with the Burscast. We if there's some stuff we just don't feel like talking about, or we have no knowledge of, or something like that, we won't really talk about it. So to start up, Ubisoft has delayed quite a few games. They have canceled a Splinter Cell VR game, which I don't know if that was actually shown or not, and they've also canceled the Ghost Recon Frontline, which was a free-to-play battle royale game, and apparently it was announced last October, and I totally forgot. So Ubisoft is kind of cracking down on what they're canceling and stuff like that. We still got there was a Splinter Cell remake that was in development, and apparently that still is. Obviously, they just put out or releasing Skull and Bones coming out in October, and then that weird Prince of Persia remake that they announced back in 2019, and then it was supposed to come out in February of 2020 or January, and it got delayed indefinitely. We haven't heard anything about that since. So it's, and that game looked really rough. So this year has been a huge year for delays. Obviously, Zelda. Starfield got delayed, so we're still seeing the ongoing effects of COVID. I think in 2020 there wasn't a ton of delays just because all those games that were scheduled to come out in 2020 were going to come out anyways. And then obviously 2021, but 2022 I've got a husky shepherd mix, and she just does nothing but shed, so there's constantly hair floating around. It drives me insane, but it is what it is. So yeah, I think we really knew that 2022 would be the big year for delays. It's unfortunate. Nintendo is holding strong. They're keeping us above water with their game releases. PlayStation's got its stuff, obviously Horizon, God of War, Stray that we're going to talk about here in a second, and Xbox is Xbox is going to have a humongous year next year. Mark my words. It's unless we see some more delays, Xbox is going to have a huge year, and crush it with their games that are going to come out. I may talk about that on next week's show, just what games we can look forward to next year and stuff like that. So I may put something like that together, but so yeah, they got there's a bunch of delays, and Ubisoft is cracking down on that stuff, so it makes sense. And the next up is Xbox owners. Discord is coming, voice chat is coming to the console, which is kind of ironic because not too long ago, PlayStation had announced that they were going to I guess invest in Discord. I don't think they outright own it yet, but they invested, and I know PSN can have their profiles on Discord, but I don't think voice chat's on there yet. So it's kind of ironic, but I'm sure it's got to be coming here pretty soon. So that's good. I mean, Discord is a very cool service. So that helps when, if you've got crossplay with, if you're playing Halo or something else, and you don't want to use, Xbox's voice message or maybe you just want to talk with your friends that are just playing other games. So that's always good to have more options to voice chat with Discord being involved. So I honestly haven't used like too much of Discord. I probably will at some point, but yeah, it's awesome that it's now integrated as part of the voice chat is integrated into the Xbox now. So that's good. Oh, that was delicious. So my house currently smells like mothballs. I'm sure most of you guys have smelled mothballs before. It's not a pleasant odor. And the reason why it's not because I'm old. I'm 30. I'm not that old yet. But last week, if you caught the podcast, I mentioned, or on Monday, I mentioned that we've had bats in our house. We have there's an eave like right at the top of our house. There's like 4 or 5 like boards that have like a 2 or 3 maybe 2 inches worth of gap in there. And I went up there last weekend and saw probably about 7 or 8 bats chilling behind the wood, and there's like there's metal mesh that's behind there that keeps any critters out and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure at the time if they had gotten physically into the attic, and I can confirm that they did not, which is awesome, because I don't know what I would have done if I went up there and 20 or 30 bats were like perched up or even more, because they're pretty invasive species. They can carry rabies, so it's pretty rare, but yeah, it's little tiny mice, mouse flying around at you. It can be kind of scary, especially when there's 20 of them. So what I did, and we noticed it because they're pretty nasty. I mean, they pee and poop and all that stuff, but on our vinyl siding there was just pee dripping down, and I had to get it cleaned off quick because apparently it can mess up like metal, vinyl, plastic, and stuff like that. So I grabbed my sprayer and I sprayed, and as soon as I did, about 20 to 30 bats flew out, and this is during the middle of the day, so they went straight to the trees and perched up. So that was a cool sight to see. It was kind of like watching Batman when you're in the cave or he's in the cave and they come flying out. So that was a cool sight to see. I cleaned all that stuff up, got up in the attic, and I got a pack of like these 4 bag of mothballs, and I opened them up and I spread them all across, the kind of near where the not it's not a window, but where the metal mesh is, and made sure that there was no damage to the mesh, which there wasn't. That was good. And then I proceeded to clean up and went back downstairs, and the next day the whole house smelled like mothballs. So that was fun. So I went back upstairs tonight or earlier and removed all the mothballs except for like maybe 10 and bagged them up. They already came in bags, but the bag was too much. It was too powerful, too strong. And I have that up there now, and I've sealed up the other mothballs and took it out to my outdoor shed. So hopefully the smell goes away, because again, mothballs are disgusting. And the reason I do that because they deter bats. So that's the reason why I used them in the first place. So that was yeah, it was real stinky. So that is it for the news. I am excited to watch this Last of Us. Well, I guess and this is, I'm not actually dirty, but this is like caulk that I used. And if you've never used caulk before, it's pretty sticky stuff and it's really hard to get off. So it takes, unless you sit there and scrub your skin off, it'll last in your skin for a couple of days. So I guess before we do that, so Stray and As Dusk Falls got released this week. As Dusk Falls is like that. What's the best? Like the story, kind of like a Telltale game, but it's got a really cool art style and a really cool like animation of the way the characters move. And apparently it's co-op, so I want to try that out, see how it plays. And then Stray released, and I've seen a ton of videos on like TikTok and stuff of this game. It looks really cool. Apparently it's pretty dark and has like an interesting twist that I had no idea that happened. And of course, you've got your fanboys on there just talking absolute dog shit to Xbox users, Xbots. For a game that is a timed exclusive, by the way. It's coming to Xbox probably sometime next year. It'll probably hit Game Pass, but because I think this game is the first big game to hit like day and date with PlayStation Plus and like a release it's coming essentially free. I think that's why it's such a big deal. So they've gotta come in full stride and talk their shit, but it is what it is, man. It's all love. I'll play the game eventually. Who knows? But it does look like a really cool game. All jokes aside, it does look like a fun game. And I've heard a lot of people say that they've played in front of their cats and they've kind of watched the gameplay. So I think I have a cat, or my wife has a cat, but it's a cool cat. It's like this cat is almost like borderline dog. And I guess because we've always had dogs, so they just kind of grew up together. So maybe that's where everything's kind of meshed together, if you will. But I do want to play this game. It looks really cool. So yeah. All right, guys, let's start watching some stuff here. Let me switch my camera. Here we go. Let's do the Resident Evil stuff. So the official, I said merchandise earlier, mercenaries. And this is for the gold edition. So the one that got it's coming out. And we don't know what the price point yet is, right? I don't think we do. Maybe we'll get it here. Nice. I like the music so far. I really did enjoy Mercenaries in the original, or the. Oh, cool! They got. Well, I guess that was in the. I actually can't remember those monsters were in the game or in the Mercenaries mode. Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's right. You get to play as Heisenberg. I totally forgot. So this is what I'm excited for.
It's showtime! Cassandra! Time to hunt! Hardly worth the effort. Let's wrap this up quickly.
Did she just throw a chair? Was that a chair? Oh my gosh. It looks cool, man. I'm excited for that mercenary stuff. We got the third person, okay. And for the story mode, I'm excited. I'm excited for more Resident Evil. Pre-order now, okay. So it's up for pre-order. About to check it out. October 28th. All right, nope, go away. All right, let's watch the Dragon Ball Breakers trailer. This is like the asymmetrical, like hide and seek prop hunt game that was announced. I don't know if it was announced last year or the year before. But yeah, it's like Dragon Ball Z, but prop hunt. It looks pretty cool. I'm a sucker for Dragon Ball Z games. I'm sure it'll be janky. but we'll see, and we'll see how it plays. This is the Frieza trailer. It's cool. Oh, Frieza. Asymmetrical class game. Is there voice acting? See, it looks janky, right? It looks janky, but it'll probably be pretty fun. Depending on how much it costs. That's kind of worries me. I don't hear any sort of voice acting. I mean, it's not a make or break deal, but I would prefer it, right? I mean, that was kind of the big problem with Nickelodeon, the Nickelodeon All-Stars game, and they added it now, but they didn't have voice acting, and that was kind of a killer to the game. To not hear those iconic characters. It looks cool though. It looks really interesting. October 4th. A lot of stuff going on in October. The Breakers. Is it? I wonder if it's free to play. It's not. Okay. So you have to pay for it. I wonder how much it is. Let's oops. Dragon Ball Breakers. I don't know why my thing. Let's see. Limited edition pre-orders. What? Pre-order Dragon Ball. Is everything okay? Oh, it's $30. Okay. Why do they keep doing this to me, man? What is in here? What is this? What is this? What are they doing to me here? Why? What is? Why does that look? Why do I kind of want that? Do I need a collector's edition for Dragon Ball Breakers? Do I? It's $80. Oh my gosh. Do I? I do love me some Dragon Ball. I don't think I do. All right, hear me out. Hear me out. I bought the collector's edition for Bayonetta 3, and I haven't even finished 1 and have never played 2. Okay. All right. Why do I kind of want this? I kind of do. Hold on. Anyways. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to try it, at least. If it'll be good or not, I don't know. I think Fighters is probably the best Dragon Ball game to ever come out, but Xenoverse 2 is, I think, amazing. I really liked Kakarot. But yeah, we'll see. All right. So that's good. All right. So let's kind of watch the big one, right? So this got leaked earlier, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter kind of hating on it. and they said that it doesn't actually look like a remake that was meticulously crafted. It looked more like a remaster. So, and my feelings on this game, I think it's a cash grab. Maybe the game itself isn't. It's always good to release a new game or an old game for a new generation. Even though this game's already been released twice, that's neither here or there. But the fact that it's $70 is a cash grab, and we'll say that, and then we'll watch this and see what my opinion changes on this. I don't know if it will or not, but we'll see.
I'm coming.
More than 2 years ago, when we were finishing Last of Us Part 2, and we were working on those flashbacks within that scene for the first game, we got excited with the idea of like, oh man, what if we made The Last of Us Part 1 to look as good, if not better, than what we have done with Last of Us Part 2, which really pushed the boundaries of like what we could do from gameplay and a graphical standpoint, and felt like if we do that, we could actually come even closer to our original vision of what the first game would have been had we not been constrained by technology.
Rebuilt for PS5.
The original creative vision of The Last of Us, I think in a lot of ways was larger than what the PlayStation 3 was capable of.
The tech
Still
of the
a
PS5,
amazing
it's like an open
game.
box of tools and goodies that we can play from and draw from. The 4K, HDR, improved haptics, 60 frames, help us to reimagine The Last of Us.
Okay.
It gave us opportunities to rebuild our
Okay,
characters.
I mean, it looks good.
The highest fidelity. Not only are the characters more detailed, I mean down to the irises.
It's a lot darker.
Pupil depth. You fall into the eyes of the characters. Aside from that, the facial animation is just way more believable. Like all the nuances, all the little subtle reactions, glances, glares, right? Like you get all of it almost closer to sort of the original performances.
So no matter what, you stick to me like glue. Like glue. Like glue. Got it. Good. Good.
We are able now to not only just have the highest fidelity characters in the cutscene, but also in gameplay. It's the same character, so now we can do these seamless transitions in and out. Every part of the game has benefited from seamless transitions and emotional scripting.
Pretty good, huh?
Our stories happen in gameplay, on the stick.
She knew my mom.
All this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks better in some spots, right? It's darker.
Now you got this. Go.
One of the things that the PlayStation 5 is really enabling is that we're able to have a density of physics objects in a scene that we could never do before. Like, this has always been the dream, is to have this number of bumpables, chippables, breakables, destructible objects in a scene. It just makes the world feel rich, makes it feel lived in. Materials can have the properties that you'd expect. The turret truck in Pittsburgh, when it's firing at you and it's just ripping apart the concrete and sending objects flying left and right.
Seeing things break, like there's fear, there's a real fear that it invokes.
And it's giving us a much more dynamic range of gameplay to play with.
Around him!
Our AI tech has just increased incredibly. What we were building the basis off of was The Last of Us Part 2's AI. And it has sophisticated systems for things like the fundamental knowledge model of how these NPCs perceive and understand what the player is much more sophisticated.
It's pretty cool to see that in that aspect.
How the enemies are communicating with each other, how they're chasing you, how they're flanking you, how intense that fight feels. It's so much more rewarding coming out of it from the other side.
Get out!
One of the other big AI improvements is the buddies. The buddies technology that we developed for The Last of Us Part 2 has this very sophisticated understanding of like, okay, this is where the enemies can see their exposure. We not only have exposure, we have future exposure. So buddies can know, okay, that enemy is walking forward and they're about to round this corner. So in 3 seconds, that corner is going to be exposed. So I'd better move now to avoid this enemy seeing me. This really lets the buddies make very complex decisions and maintain that feeling of stealth much more believably. Another big enhancement to the gameplay
It's cool.
is that we have this technology called motion matching. Motion matching is this technology that's basically using logic that tries to match the desired movement to a bucket of hundreds of animations. A mocapped actor has gone in and run this whole gauntlet of movements to get a really full set of all the different ways a person can move. And then it's basically every frame trying to find the best matching animation that fits the path of where the character is going to go. And this motion model just gives this really seamless sense of transition. The player's movement is just a lot cleaner. It's this really smooth, organic movement through the space.
First, we just had to build that core experience. And then beyond that, we wanted to add several features that fans have been asking for. For example, we now have a permadeath mode. Along that, we've added a brand new speedrun mode, so players can time themselves. There's a whole community of gamers that just want to see how fast they can play through this game.
I wonder, I'm pretty sure that
we
was
added a
in
bunch
2, right?
more
I think.
of unlockables. So there's all these different outfits for Ellie and Joel that people can unlock. A model viewer mode, so people can really appreciate the details. We added award-winning accessibility features.
Every single accessibility option that we offer, that's a barrier removed for someone.
They did do like some amazing accessibility stuff in this game, or in Last of Us Part 2.
Which now has a cracked face.
To my knowledge, this is the first PlayStation game that has audio description built into the game, built into the cinematics.
Now it's nighttime. Joel stirs in his sleep.
And that's really the way we've tried to push the frontier of
Yeah,
accessibility.
they did a really good job with that stuff. Like insanely good, like just all the...
So much of the identity
So many
of The
things.
Last of Us is the world.
We revamped completely the art direction. You know, everything from these expansive vistas that not only are they beautiful, but you feel the environments. You feel the environments in a much more visceral way. The rooftops overlooking the Capitol building, for example, like just the breath of fresh air when you go up there and you just like, you feel that sort of release in tension. And then, you know, to juxtapose that down in the tunnels in Wilds, and you get that dank, flooded tunnel feel, that humidity, you can actually feel it. All these environments are just completely reimagined.
Now we got our engine on the PS5, those haptics, the 3D audio, the fast loading. It really creates a much more immersive, and because of that, much more emotional experience.
One of the things
I mean, it looks better, right? Like, you can't deny that.
Is being able to
I
hear an enemy
don't
before they sneak up on you.
see the
And trying to do
reasoning
the
why it
stalker fight with the
exists.
3D audio is just so much fun. You're hearing them.
Like, why
steer
couldn't they
around
just-
in a different room, and you're hearing them trying to get it behind you.
Charge you like a certain amount to upgrade the PS4 remaster or something.
Having
Like,
that two-part reaction
again,
of like
again, I
hearing,
don't think
turning,
that this is a
seeing,
cash grab.
reacting. It
I
just
don't
really
think,
heightens that sense of just being
you know,
grounded. You are in this.
you know,
character,
it's
you are
cool
in
that they
this
want
world.
to go back and do this and add all the accessibility features, but they couldn't do that to the
Now,
original game,
with the
or like the
PlayStation 5,
remaster version
amount
and
of
upgrade it.
control that developers have over the DualSense. It's really, really cool. All the guns
Just
in the game
$70
have
just
a
feels
variable amount of resistance
gross
on
to
the
me for
triggers
this,
when you aim
but
them. The way it
I don't
works
know.
with the bow is that at the very beginning, when they're starting to draw the bow, there's a little bit of resistance. And then as the bow gets tauter and tauter, the amount of resistance is increasing. And then when you release the bow, you're also getting that resistance going out of the trigger. When you are aiming and firing the shotgun, you're going to get a haptic vibration on the shot. And then what I think is one of the ways that the DualSense really advances things is you're going to get a haptic vibration on the pump of the shotgun. And what's much more sophisticated about that on the DualSense is that in effect has a little like speaker in it. And it's playing an audio file that comes through in the vibrations. And those two
I want to see what the
beats
multiplayer is. Now, I know it's not
is
going to
what you're
come
gonna
with
feel
this,
on the controller.
but I want to see what their multiplayer looks like
This
in
also
the future.
ties into the new workbench animations. So if you're seeing Joel taking apart a gun or screwing something in or putting a new stock on a gun, that moment where he's like jamming that on, you're going to get that haptic feedback on that. We have, you know, haptics all across the board, you know, for all the moments you kind of expect, for clambering, jumping, landing, meleeing, getting melee, like all those kind of high intensity moments. We have represented in the haptics. What I personally absolutely adore is the way we can enhance the really like quiet, subtle moments of gameplay. So it's like when Joel goes in to pet the giraffe, getting that little light touch on the haptics as he's petting the giraffe. To me, that's the essence of The Last of Us. It's the high tension moments, it's the low tension moments, it's all of it feeling grounded. It's you're feeling immersed in this world. It's all about bringing you along with that story in as many ways as we can, and that's what the new technology on the PlayStation 5 is allowing.
Was that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out.
There's something special about that core experience of playing as Joel and Ellie on this journey. Then to take that experience and really honor it and keep the authenticity of it, but elevate it in every way possible, whether it's pipeline, whether it's art direction, whether it's a technology, everything that allows us to make that experience better. Not different, extremely better. That's why, to me, this is the definitive way to play The Last of Us.
But oh my gosh. Okay, I've had enough.
The solar opposite.
So yes, it looks better. It looks like a. I wouldn't say remake, honestly. I wouldn't. The Capcom. I think Capcom has nailed like that remake feel, right? You have Resident Evil 2, just blew me away, and then 3, not quite as good. I did think 3 was more fun to play, like do replayability, but as far as like the physical remake itself, I think Capcom is killing it with it. Obviously, I really want to see what they do with Resident Evil 4, but this doesn't look like a remake. Yes, it's built from the ground. I don't know. It looks good. It looks better than the PS4 Pro remaster, whatever you want to call it. It does, and adding all the accessibility features to the game, and the upgraded AI to match Last of Us 2 is awesome. It's really cool. $70. If you haven't played Last of Us since 2014 when the remaster came out, you may want to play it again. And if you want to spend $70 for this, that's fine. I've seen a lot of back and forth on Twitter with people who are just like, who cares what you think, or, who cares what other people spend their money on. But we also have to vote with our wallets. And I think if this thing sells hugely well, obviously PlayStation is going to keep doing it. And that's fine. Again, it's fine. But this is a remaster. I would say more than a remake, just from what I saw. In the world where we have these generations and cross generation, we get these upgrades. Some companies are not charging, some companies are. Xbox has got their smart delivery where they give you the better frame rate version or whatever the case is. I understand this is a little bit more than that, but again, $70 for this is crazy to me. And we were talking about it on the podcast on Monday, and obviously it's all subjective. Like, what is that money worth to you? And this game may be worth $70 to you. And I was asked about maybe the. What if Bloodborne got remade? And I think my biggest thing is that game hasn't been released 2 other times. It's been released one time, and then it would get the remaster or the remake treatment. This game was already released. It was on the PS3 to the PS4, and now the PS5. Like, are we gonna do? Is Last of Us Part 2 gonna have a PS6 remaster and be charged $80? When does that stop? Like, I mentioned, God of War coming out for $70. That's going to be worth $70. That game is going to be incredible, but it's a brand new experience. It's a brand new game. This is not. Like, we have to draw a line in the sand where this stuff talks. So hopefully people vote with their wallet. Again, you know, I certainly will. If I ever catch it on, when I get a PS5 and I ever see it on like super sale, for like $20, I will pick it up and play through that game again, because it is a masterpiece, right? I think this would have been the perfect game to put on PlayStation Plus as a free game. I think that would have been perfect. Obviously, it doesn't meet PlayStation's like agenda, what they have with their PlayStation Plus model. They've got Stray on there, which is cool. So I don't want to like talk about the topic too much more, because I feel like I'm starting to beat it into the ground. But I hope people vote with their wallets. I hope people can take off their goggles of loving PlayStation so much that, yeah, I don't think you can justify this one. I don't think you can justify the price. But again, it's your money, do what you want with it. But yeah, it's I think it's just too much. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Again, not a ton of news. Talked a little bit about what I've played. I'm obviously going to talk about some more, probably talk about more Dragon's Dogma as I continue on with that. Maybe talk about, well, Xenoblade comes out next Friday, so I doubt I'll, if I pick it up, it probably won't be, until, Saturday or Sunday, if I do it all. And I don't think I'm going to jump into it day one. I want to wait on reviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This is kind of the general vibe you're going to get with the show. We'll watch some trailers together. We'll talk about the tough topics, stuff like that. So yeah, we'll watch some trailers, talk about games, talk about news. I may talk about some random stuff like I did with the bats earlier. So again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Give the show a like, and I love doing it. I love talking about video games, and I want to make more. So I appreciate the support, guys, and I will see y'all in the next episode.